Good afternoon. It is Saturday, November 9th, 2013. This is your Island Blader speaking. Here's what's happening. First of all, I would like to apologize to all my viewers out there. I know I'm 6 days late. I just haven't had the time to get around to making a video this past week. So here I am. Also, beyond the fact that last Sunday I watched the game in South Jersey. I was with my girlfriend down there, and since Philadelphia area CBS decided not to show the Jets, I had sacrificed a few bucks and watched it on an internet feed, some foreign internet channel. But anyway, wow. I mean, it's just a pattern that the Jets like to show up on odd numbered weeks. So now, as Rex Ryan said, now we can lose to the bye week, okay, before we get ready for Buffalo next weekend. Anyway, in one of the bigger upsets of the year, and it seems like the Jets have pulled a couple of those this year. After a pathetic performance in Cincinnati, everyone wrote them off against the Saints. Some of the optimists said, "Hey, it is an odd-numbered week." I mean, I'm like, okay, but I can't believe in the stretch against three division leaders, and all three teams that the last three opponents of the Jets all still lead their division, and they go 2-1 in those three games. Unbelievable. And what an effort they had against the Saints last Sunday. I mean, Drew Brees was mediocre. He threw a couple interceptions there in the first half, and you gotta love the D-line. I mean, there's already comparisons to them of the New York Sack Exchange of the 80s with Gastineau, Marty Lyons, Joe Klecko, and Abdul Salam. They're comparing Mo Wilk, Quentin Coples, Sheldon Richardson, and Damon Snacks Harrison to these guys. I mean, for what it has been, they have shut down the run. And if I'm not mistaken, statistically, they are now number one against the run. And while the secondary, still leaves much to be desired, still, it's like, but if you want to say how the Saints had key injuries, like no Marcus Colston, Darren Sproles going out in the first play of the game, Jimmy Graham, despite catching 2 touchdowns, not exactly at 100% in the foot. I mean, look at who we lost. Look at who we don't have. No Santonio, no Jeremy Curley, and it looks like Jeremy Curley, my man's going to be out for a good while. Not the end of this, not for the rest of the year, but they're talking about a good month or so with a nasty injury there to his arm, and or his elbow, or something. They called it, I forget the word they used for it. It was a weird word, but it didn't sound good. Stephen Hill a non-factor, etc. But when we had to play ground and pound, and the Jets did that. They played ground and pound, the thing that has been their forte the last few years. Okay, Geno Smith running, and Chris Ivory against his former team ran amok. And I picked him up out of desperation for fantasy. And man, was he huge. He came up for me huge. So the next time the Jets play, which is next Sunday in Buffalo, you betcha, with depleted running back core that I have, you betcha Chris Ivory will be on my fantasy team next week. So, an impressive game. And Antonio Cromartie redeemed himself, with a nice interception there. After getting burned twice, he got beat in a 60-yard play where he fell down, and Robert Meekum beat him. And on a 60-yard play, and then on that, a couple plays later, Jimmy Graham beat him for a touchdown. But, you're facing Jimmy Graham, for crying out loud, one of the best receiving tight ends in the NFL. It's obvious that injury is still bothering Cromartie. But an upset win, 26-20. And again, as always, as the Jets have done with all of their victories this year, they have made you nervous. Okay? Because once again, it seems like, again, with the fourth quarter, Marty Mornhinweg is, quick to go away from the run when they're in the lead and the clock's running down. Run the football. Like I said in an earlier rant, I think it was after the Patriot game, I said, I know it makes you look like a hero if you make that big completion, but then you look like a goat because you gave the opposition basically a free timeout. Now, and they did that. And then I said, the way the defenses have been under Rex Ryan for as long as he's been here, with the game on the line, they could play great defense the whole game. But if it's a close game, the game on the line, the defense on the field, how many times have they let down This time they didn't let down. This time it did not take a last second or an overtime field goal winner or an opposing team's mistake. The defense did the job. And of course, a big holding penalty happened. And, Breeze, they had their way with him. They forced a fumble on him, but, Jimmy Graham was right there in the backfield to recover it. But there was a play there. I think it was during the third quarter, there was a series there. They destroyed Drew Brees. I mean, you were loving it. It got you pumped up, even though I'm watching it on my laptop. And I'm going nuts. I'm like, yeah! It just got you fired up, as if you were at the game itself. But, can't complain. I mean, the team's 5-4 at the bye week. I mean, listen, for what the expectations were for this football team. I'll sign up for 5-4 at the bye week. Sure. 5-4 at the bye week. Who would have thought? Considering, maybe the lack of personnel, the lack of talent and firepower. Look at the Jets. They're 5-4. They've pulled 2 upsets. 3 of their wins have been where they were clearly underfavored. Okay? And look at them now. Look at them now. 5 wins. Now, my only problem is this. Okay, here's what it is now. For the Jets, if they want to make some sort of playoff run, it might have to be either you win the division, and it's not looking likely because the Patriots are still the Patriots, or you have to get the 6th seed. It's either the 6th seed, win your division, or you don't go. I mean, a lot of us did not expect the Jets to make the playoffs, but right now, it's looking like, with Rex Ryan's back against the wall, he's done a pretty good job. 2 losses there, they got blown out. Okay, they did. Cincinnati, and then there was also Tennessee. But I mean, for what it's worth, they might be the surprise of the year. But here's my other thing, though. Even though they're at 5-4 right now, and they sit, I believe they're still the 6th seed. Number 1, you've got Tennessee, who has had their bye week. They are 4-4. I don't see any scenario where Tennessee is at home is losing on Sunday to Jacksonville. I don't see. So, assumingly Tennessee does beat Jacksonville tomorrow, Tennessee will be 5-4 and ahead of the Jets on the head-to-head tiebreak. See, this is the thing now. I mean, the Jets are not playing San Diego, but here's the big thing. Conference record also counts. Right now, the Jets are 5-4. However, 3 of those 5 wins have come against the NFC. Okay? Now, if it were within the division, it was a common opponents thing, then that's different. But when it's interconference trying to chase a wild card, winning against your conference is huge. Now, granted, the Jets have one more game against the NFC, and that's in Carolina in Week 15. A tough Carolina team. You're looking at the second half of the schedule, the post-bye week, and everyone said, on paper, this is easy. It's never easy when you're the Jets, when you look ahead. And also, you look at their opponents. Like, for example, they have Buffalo. Buffalo, their record, okay, it is what it is. But Buffalo is a spunky little team. I'll tell you that. They never have gone away quietly. They should have beaten New England in the first week. They gave New Orleans a little run before New Orleans pulled away. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, and I know they were down to like their 3rd quarterback, no E.J. Manuel and no Thad Lewis, but you know what? If not for those couple of big miscues, they probably could have beaten undefeated Kansas City. Getting intercepted there, a pick 6 from the on a 100-yard pick 6. Who was it? Sean Smith at Kansas City who picked it off. There was that, and then I think on the next drive there was a fumble. The wide receiver, whoever it was, fumbled the ball away, and Tamba Hali picked it up for a touchdown. You take those mistakes away, Buffalo probably could have beaten Kansas City, if you think about it. So Buffalo is no write-off. Granted, when the Jets faced them in Week 3, if the Jets didn't penalize themselves to no end, they probably should have blown Buffalo out that game. In their run-happy game with Spiller and Fred Jackson. But, so Buffalo's not to be taken lightly. The week after that is Baltimore. I know Baltimore is not the same team. They don't have Ray Lewis. They don't have Ed Reed. And, they're not the same team they once were. But, the Jets haven't beaten Baltimore since 97. That's number 1. But that's whatever. That's history. Baltimore is still a tough team at home. So I'm not I'm not going to write off Baltimore for nothing. No way. And then Miami and all the scrutiny there. I mean, the Jets still have to play Miami twice. And all the stuff that's going on down there, with the Incognito and Martin situation. They play on Monday Night Football, and it's a test to see who they are. Are they bothered by this whole thing? Or is it just making them stronger as a team? But that's two of their starting offensive linemen right there. Who else is there? Oakland. I mean, Oakland got torched last week by Philadelphia. They're actually on the East Coast. They're here to play the Giants tomorrow at MetLife. They got Oakland. I mean, for a while it looked like maybe they had something with Terrell Pryor, and only thing we saw was the secondary getting burned by Nick Foles last week. Carolina, like I mentioned, is a tough game. They're right in it, in the thick of the NFC right now. And they're only a game behind the Saints out of first place. Who would have thought? And then on week 16, the Jets have Cleveland, and Cleveland is no write-off either. For all their things, they lost Trent Richardson, and trading him away. Who's their quarterback again? I forget who. But you know what? They have been a tough. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Ravens this past week, and Cleveland is no easy task. So you may think the second half, maybe you on paper earlier thought, oh, this is easy. It's not. This is a test to see the Jets who they are. So far, after the first 9 games into their bye week this weekend, hey, you know what? They've done pretty all right. Like I said, many of us probably signed up for 5-4 at the bye. I mean, all the haters will come out and, subtract New England and the Tampa Bay games away. But you know what? I mean, for what it is, hey, listen, 5-4, they're right in it. Currently, they're in 6th place in the conference. If the playoffs started today, they'd be in. Playing Andrew Luck and the Colts. But still, I mean, look, if the Jets get to the playoffs or something, or, lose in the first round, okay, fine. But I mean, even if the Jets don't contend, and if they fall a little short, if hopefully it's not the collapse way, if you know what I mean. If that, Rex deserves an extension for, these players have already come out and said that they want to play for Rex. They do. And I think Idzik told him to take his antics down a notch, and so far he has. He hasn't been running his mouth. He hasn't been, flaunting, saying things, that might cause trouble. He's just shut up and coach the team. So, like I said, I mean, for what it's worth, this team might be better than we think, especially with that D-line. The D-line is the best thing on this team right now. The secondary's shaky. We really are thin at wide receivers, even though, David Nelson's done a decent job and, and everything else. And, but right now, like we said, 5-4 at the bye. And even the quarterback who's been, seesawing it the whole year, looks great one week and looks awful the following week. You know what? For what it's been, it hasn't been terrible. Sanchez was 4-5 in his rookie year, but I'm not making comparisons. Okay, there's still some season left, and Gino's done okay. He didn't turn. They had him only at 8 for 19 last week. I forgot how many yards. It was very few. But you know what, though? They did that, I think, to curtail the mistakes. And he played a mistake-free football game. No interceptions, no turnovers, nothing. That's what I think they aimed for. But I think his line is only 8 of 19, 133 or something like that. I have to recheck. I know he was 8 of 19. I don't remember the yardage. But you know what, though? He took the game on his shoulders and did an awesome job, him and Ivory. So you know what? Like I said, he's done all right. Like I said, it's more than what we've asked for. And, you really can't complain too much. 5-4, hey, you take it. Anyway, with that said, so I hate the bye week. It's bummer. It's gonna, weekend passes. It happens every year. The bye week. The Jets aren't playing. I mean, at the advantage, I could use the breather because I'm tired of my heart palpitating during some of these games. So, hey, but anyway, with that said, I'm gonna kill it for here. This is your Island Blader speaking. Deuces for now. Enjoy the bye week. We'll get ready for next week. Buffalo. So we'll see what happens. All right. Anyway, deuces for now.